Kakadosh Boker Or Masechet Batra Daf Yomi Daf Kuf Nun Gimel Amulal 153:1 says the Gemara Hahu de Kanu Mine. It's a story. Yeah, you like stories. The third line. Yeah, down. Hahu de Kanu Mine. There was a Shchimera that he wrote all his properties to somebody, and he gave him a shtar, a tzava also, and he also made a kinyan for him. Ravuna, and then he wanted to retract, so he came in front of Ravuna. Amal says Ravuna, what am I going to do to you? You didn't acquire it in normal fashion, and the fact that you didn't do it in normal fashion, that's it. Normally the shchimera, right? He's just going to write it, and that's it. Here they wrote it, they did a kinyan, so even with that's it. What do you want?
This one is the one. That's the question. This is the one he
Hayim matnata. There was another story of a shchimera. There was a ketubah that was written there in the matnat shchimera, b'chaim u'v'mavet, whether it's life and death. What does that mean? The matana is given to him whether it's life or death, which means it was the matana, part of the properties, right? That kilu hakavana is a bidra klal matana bari. You can't retract. Now the question though is, since he said b'chaim u'v'mavet, what's halacha? Can he retract or not? Because he said it was life and death. Well, what did he mean by that? So he says, Rava says it's still matana shchimera, and Kam Shmuel he says no, that's matana bari. It's a regular healthy person. Completely different halachot when he's giving the presents. Everything changes. Okay. Rav comes and he says that because it's written b'mavet achar mita kamale. We're talking about achar mita. And that which is written b'chayim siman be'alma dechaye. It's a siman that's some that he's going to live. Ushmuel Amar, and Shmuel comes and he says hari k'matan bari midichtiv ba b'chayim. How does it work? 1 second. Shmuel says it's like k'matan bari. One more time. Let's go back. Rav comes and he says it's like a matanat shchimera because it's written b'mavet. So he says achar mavet kamale. He meant it was mamash after that. So why did he say b'chayim? He just it's a siman that Bezat Hashem he wants to live. He doesn't want to write down that he's going to die completely. Says hey, he wants to give himself some hope. So he writes down b'chayim also. He's going to live. Shmuel comes and he says no. It's a matana bari. Why he wrote b'chayim? So why did he write then b'mavet? He says like the mandamar. It means kilu from now and for eternity. From now and forever. That's what it means b'mavet. B'mavet for eternity. So Amni Narda, it says Narda, Rav, and therefore this matana, which is in Mechayim of Mavet, is like matana Shchid Mera, and if you got up, everything retracts. So Amar Rav comes and he says, Amar Rava, sorry, and if it's written Mechayim Uvamavet, Mechayim Umavet, Kana, he's going to buy it. He's going to acquire business. He says Mechayim, from life. So Amar Ameimar says, Let Hilchata Kavated Rava, the halachas like Rava. Amaleh Ravashi Ameimar says Ravashi to Ameimar Pshita, it's obvious. The Ha'amri, because he said, if he says Hilchata Kavated Rav, so obviously the halachas like Rava. So he says, no, I would have thought to say B'chayim, Mechayim, he does agree to him. And therefore he said, no, he doesn't agree to him, even Mechayim, B'chayim, Oto Davar. Fine. Somebody came from Nachman to Narda. Shadr lekame. So he sent him to Rabbi Yirmiyah Barabba l'shum tamya. Right? He sent him a question, and he says, "Aman achatra de Shmuel. This is the city of Shmuel. Hechi naved kavated Rav. How are we going to do like Rav? Meaning, there's such a thing that even if you're going to tell me that maybe who's right, whether it's Rav and Shmuel, if you're in the city of Shmuel, you can't do like Rav. Imagine I'm going to go to somebody else's Bet Knesset. Their rabbi holds A, and I'm going to do completely B. Now you're right. He's got water line, and I have water line. But Ribono Shalom, you're in the guy's Bet Knesset. What are you doing? You understand? Same concept. Okay, so he says. He says like the Shadr Kameh, the Rabbi Yirmiyah Shamtamya. He says, "Amar Achat the Shmuel. How are we going to do like Rav? How does it make sense?" So Aida Taile Kameh de Rava. There was somebody that came in front of Rava to ask the question. So Avala Rava Kishmateh. So Rava did exactly the way that he did. Have a Katardale. So she started bothering him with all these types of ta'anot. Yeah, Amale Rav Papa Derem Chanan Sabi. So he went to Rav Papa. He said the Sofer. Zil Ktovla Uchtovla. Go write the present for her and write it on her. Socher Alea Alehen Omitan. Or you're going to come and you're going to give her all these fruits. Yeah, basically you're going to give her everything. So that's it. She gets lost. You don't want her there. So he says, Amra litba arbe. She says that the sfina, the boat of Rava should sink. Atuye kamatidli. Why? He wants to make me make a mistake. So therefore, Amshinu lemane de Rava b'maya. Right? He had all the clothing of Rava in water. Right? So he says, in order that mamash the klala should be there. Afilu achilo ifrak mitiba. And even still, right, the sfina of Rava actually did come and did actually sink. So you see what it is, the power of the mouth. She comes and she said, this guy's boat should sink. Boom. It sank. Powerful, yeah? Fine. Mishnah. Mishnah on the bottom of Kuftum Gimel Amud Aleph. Lo katav ba shchimera. If he did not write any lashon to do the shchimera. Yeah? So who omer, he says, shchimera iti. But he says, I was a shchimera. Vehen omri, and the other people say, what are you talking about? Bari ayita. You were a buddy. Tzarich lavi raya shchimera. He has to bring a raya that he's a shchimera. These are the words of Rabbi Min. It's incumbent upon him to bring the proof of Bemet was the Yishchimina or not. So says the Gemara, there was a Mishnah that was written by the what? Sorry, not a Mishnah. There's a writings. So let's see what it says. He says when he was chole and he was in his bed, and it wasn't written there, that mitoch cholyo is going to be niftar levet olamo, just like they would usually write down. Okay, so now we go like this. What does that mean exactly? He says that when they were chole mutal b'mita, so he comes and he says, but he didn't say mitoch cholyo niftar. So therefore, that's what you usually write. It was usually they write down that from the sickness, that's where the person passed away. So he comes and he says like this. So Kufnun Gimel Mubet. So Rabba comes and he says, Haremet, but he says, 1 second, but why do you have to write that? He died. And what's the proof? Look at his tombstone. So Abaye comes and he says, Hashta umasfina sheruban le'aved notnim aleim chumrei chayim v'chumrei metim cholin shelo cholin lechayim lo kol shken. This is 1 second. Boats, there's something incredible, by the way. He's saying the majority of the boats, they drown at sea. Meaning, if you're going to take statistics, the majority drown at sea. He says, and still you came and you give them the chumrot of also chayim and also metim, as if that they're alive and they're dead. He says, cholin, people that are sick, the majority of people that are sick, they get better. So if it's like that, so then what's going on? So he says, so kol shekan, you should say the same thing. So he comes and he says, so he should be able to be mvatel's matana. So Amar Rav Huna bered of Yeshua, Kiman Hazah Ashmaita de Rabba. Right? What does this go like then? Was it Rabbi Yonatan? Rabbi Natan. The time was learned to the Braita, mi motzi miyad mi. Who takes out of who? Who motzi miden below raya? He takes out of their hands without a raya, but they don't take out of his hands without a raya. Right? So he says like this. He says mi motzi miyami. He says mi motzi. He says hen motzi below raya. The very Yaakov. These are the words of Yaakov. Rabbi Natan says im barihu, if he's going to be healthy. Alav lavi raya sheyash shchimera. He has to bring a raya that he was a shchimera at the time. But if he is a shchimera now, they have to bring the raya. Meaning, it all depends what he is now. What's the status quo now? If he's healthy, so bring a proof that he was a shchimera. If he's a shchimera, bring a proof that he was healthy. So Amar Rabbi Lazar says Rabbi Lazar, ul tum'ah kemachloket. He says the tum'ah is a machloket because we learned in the Mishnah bika when you have a field, in the wind in the summertime, the shutei chilin Shabbat. It's considered a shul for Shabbat. Ushulabim for Tubah. In the winter time, it's considered a shul yachid for each of them, because now that's it. There's not a lot of people coming, so therefore it's all considered what the shul yachid. So he says, Amar Rava says, Lo shanu ela she'en alea. He says, Shelo avru alea. What does that mean? They didn't pass it during the Yemot HaGeshmim. But if they did pass it during the Yemot HaGeshmim, it's going to be Reshut Yachid for both sides.